Hey everyone, welcome back to Real Talk NFT, where we talk all things Web3. Very excited to have on the guest today, the co-founder and chief strategy officer for SynFutures, Matthew Liu. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Joe.
Awesome. Well, before we get started today, let's tell us a little bit about your background, how you got inspired to come in on to the Web3 space and building what you're building with SynFutures.
Sure. Yeah. I actually started my career as a trader, doing financial derivatives more than a decade ago, and then moved around the world to help a couple of multinational companies to manage their FX and fundraising issues. And then later on, right after the DeFi summer, I actually moved in to start a consortium-based blockchain business, enterprise blockchain business, together with some of my old colleagues, but really find my true passion in the public blockchain, especially in the Web3, in early 2021. And that was when we started SynFutures. But my personal record of investing in Web3 started much earlier. I bought Bitcoin in 2013. But unfortunately sold in 2014. If I still have that, it'll be much nicer.
Well, you guys aren't doing bad. From the short time you've been around, you guys conduct over $1 billion in sales. Is that weekly, monthly, or daily?
So far cumulatively, we have more than 15 billion. So roughly. Because especially the first version of the product has been around for almost a year and a half. So roughly that's per month number.
Wow. So you definitely seen a lot of data. You understand what's going on in the markets. And today's podcast might be a little bit different than your usual conversation because we are more specific to an NFT podcast. So I must ask you before I start asking you about the platform, do you own or collect any NFTs yourself?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I'm a big fan of NFT. I not only collect NFT, we also issue a lot of NFTs.
Really? So you mean issuing in terms of the trading aspect, or you have projects that you're minting out there?
For two parts, at SynFutures, we issue NFT. For the first part, sometimes we have, like trading activities, trading competitions and community events, so that we issue some NFTs to the active traders and active community members. As a proof of their contribution. That's one. And two is, of course, we're also in process to plan for a PFP for the project.
Okay.
So that's also in the making and may come out sometime later this year.
Okay, dropping some alpha might come out of a PFP. Awesome. It's definitely a way to reward users. Definitely. I personally sign up for a lot of things because they give free NFTs. As you can see behind me, too many to count. Actually, everything behind me has come from a NFT redemption, mainly pretty much everything back there. So I'm really excited to talk about this topic and really to help our audience expand into not only investing into NFTs, seeing it as an asset, but finding different ways to make money on it. So I'm not an expert trader by any means in Web3. In Web2, I just purchased stocks, bonds, US Treasury bills, the really boring stuff. But I did try one time, trading options, which we'll get into later on, but more pertaining to SynFutures. How does one get started? What are the opportunities for trading NFTs that you see?
Yeah, thanks. When we started, unfortunately, I'm also one of the boring people who devote so much time in trading and making the product. That of course I collect NFT, but I'm not really a guru like other members in the team. So when we started to design the smart contract, we only thought, hey, let's have a set of smart contract that can have the futures pool for anything. By anything, I mean anything so long there's a price feed on chain, right? So we started, of course, with crypto futures, and then we also built one for the hash rate futures. Then we realized the same set of smart contract can do FX as well as equities. Of course, we haven't launched those elements, but the smart contracts can. Then, when the NFT came into play, we thought, hey, can we create like futures pools for NFTs? Because these have big demands in the market. So yeah, then we did some study and realized, yes, we can. But of course, although we didn't start to like run an NFT project, we do collaborate and integrate with quite a couple of NFT projects. So basically, these price feeds, being like a floor price or like a fractionalized ERC20 price, can be used to further create a futures pool with the same set of smart contract. And hence, that's the product we're building now, called NFT futures, or NFutures for short.
That is the first time I've heard of it. And rewind back to 2016 when I was first buying crypto, I was trying to learn, futures, shorting, longing Bitcoin, and I wish there was an academy. I see that SynFutures has an academy to educate people. So who knows? I may have retired by now if there was an academy back then. But you're going to educate people how to short and long NFTs. Is that something simple to do, or does it take a long time to learn how to get good in in trading these types of these assets?
Yeah, I see this as two layers, right? The first layer is about getting more users to the NFT world, right? Mm-hmm. This means the originally boring people like me now started from trading, but can also have some skill sets to learn NFTs and to trade NFTs, right? So that's part of the function of this product. But the more important thing that we see is, I think NFT started with all the collection, themes, but then later on, because there are so many assets that are in this universe, right? You look at OpenSea, you look at Blur. There's so many assets listed. Mm-hmm. So this is a huge market. And any markets would need price discovery and efficiency in order to encourage more people to come into this market, right? In order to encourage, I would say, more creators to create better projects, better NFTs. And hence, we think the second mission of the product is to increase the efficiency of the NFT price discoveries, and this is this we hope will contribute back to the whole NFT ecosystem. Yeah, by price discoveries. Yeah, let me make it very straightforward. Right? Like you said, you can long and short with leverage, right? And this basically means, in plain words, you can express your view on this with your money, right? So that's really backing the wave. I see Punk is overvalued. I can say it, but right. Now I can actually put down my money for this, right? And that's a real view that people see. And this is the beauty of the financial markets. It's actually not about money. It's actually money is a intermedium that actual people use to express opinion on the value of something, right? If you think about that, it's right. And then when that comes to the NFT market, then we're gonna see the more valuable projects are gonna have higher value, and then hence attract more capital and users, and therefore more people are gonna go towards this direction, right? So that's something we hope that we can contribute. And of course, vice versa, right? So for some projects that doesn't have an active community, or this is just like a one-time project, then it's very natural. Now people not only can dump OpenSea and Blur, and they can also short here to express their opinion. Yeah,
interesting. Definitely something that if it was in this true essence, meaning that this is the true value of opinions and where they think it's headed, then that'd be amazing for accurate price discovery. how do you guys prevent, manipulation? Because I just read an article yesterday about Blur, right? Like I think many people heard about Blur, how it's being controlled by, 80% of transactions, by a few wallets. So how do you guys mitigate that risk?
That's a very good question, honestly, because to some extent, every market, every financial market has a certain level of, like you call it manipulation. Sometimes, for example, if you're trading a foreign exchange, a couple of big banks can just push the market one side, right? And then, but of course, there's the regulators and the central banks gonna find this out and probably find these like market manipulators. And this thing go, I would say, on the surface and enter the table in many of the markets. So I would say it's hard to completely like get rid of any source of so-called market manipulation, but there are definitely some mechanism that many like market builders put in place to prevent the smaller investors or the smaller traders being, I would say, affected by some of the market manipulations, right? So, for example, in our design, the first thing we do is we take only traded price rather than quoted price. So the difference being, if it's a traded price, then that's like a true opinion of people using their money behind it, right?
Right.
But it's a quoted price, sometimes like because of the oracle mechanism, and sometimes because of flash loan, these prices can be distorted easily. So the first thing is we use traded price. At least that's just more solid. And the second one is we also have like open interest limit to avoid maybe a single like NFT futures trader taking too much position to like control the market price to affect the others. And this list goes on. So we have many mechanisms, and we do see that for the smaller caps, maybe it may be easier to be subject to some manipulations. But for the large caps, the blue chips, these pools are much deeper than I would say the rest of the market, and therefore we see them as relatively safe. Because if the attackers wants to significantly move the market, they also have their capital at risk, right? So it's always a risk reward trade off, and that's why it's the same thing in like NFTs, as in many of the like ERC20 tokens, where usually the small caps are being kind of manipulated by the large traders. I mean, that happens. And that's part of the market, actually. And another point is that I think, when you mentioned a couple of large accounts kind of manage the price on Blur, this is also because the nature of the NFT pricing is not a continuous pricing curve, right? It's think this as an individual NFT are like auction based, and then there's a floor price which tracks the last traded like lowest price, right? So this doesn't mean the next transaction can happen at that last price. Therefore, in nature, this is a market that naturally, I would say, takes less capital to move the market, to move the price that everyone will see. And this is also where when we started to build SynFutures, we realized having a continuous pricing for NFT is critical for that increase in the capital efficiency and price discovery. And therefore, we partner with quite a couple of fractionalized NFT projects, because they kind of have done that ERC 721 to ERC 20 conversion, so that the price there are continuously continuous price in the form of ERC20, and therefore, that's like not only just the last traded price, but also the next price that anyone can put their money behind.
Wow. So it sounds like you have a lot of mechanisms in place to really help track that and make sure that, the pricing is accurate. What don't NFTs have a liquidity issue currently, or how is liquidity, being utilized in SynFutures?
So our view is NFT liquidity in this market condition isn't as good as what it used to be like a couple of months ago.
Right.
But this doesn't really stop us from building this product. Number one, we actually build product through cycles, regardless of where the market is. That applies to like cryptocurrency market, that also apply to NFT markets. Building product is the most important thing for us. Number two, for the liquidity are always there. It's just they sometimes liquidity shift from like one project to another, right? Some project used to be very hot and a lot of project backing it, but then new things come out, so the liquidity would move on to the new project. I think that's a very healthy nature in this industry, right? Where innovation always happen, and then
Yes.
Liquidity, i.e., like capital, would back these better innovations, and so that for any team, actually, regardless of it's like Web3, it's a crypto, DeFi, or it's NFT, the only way, right, to continue to survive and thrive is to kind of build a new product that basically revolutionize the old product that we built before, i.e., the innovation is nonstop, right? The moment you stop, you think, hey, I already issued this NFT. Now, never mind about the community building. Then this project would become irrelevant in a couple of months' time. So that's basically really the beauty of this industry, right? To have that capital and liquidity to back the new and uprising projects.
Absolutely. You talk about product and being progressive, and you guys have, I don't think you're building your own smart contract. You're utilizing one currently. And is the platform completely decentralized, or I know that is now only available in certain areas of the world. Is that correct?
Yes. So because we're still in early stage for this, so we haven't launched a token to decentralize the governance of this project. But we are in the process to explore some sort of governance with the NFTs that we issue, right? So it's different from like a ERC20 driven governance. Maybe this can be a new format of like ERC 721 driven governance. That's one. And the two is you're right. So this product isn't available in many parts of the world, such as the US. So as well as other like risky countries. But generally speaking, we have seen most of the users coming from the developing world. For example, like Southeast Asia, and then Europe, India, etc. So these are kind of our main markets now.
No, I completely understand. I mean, right now, Dapper Labs is getting, a lawsuit for their NFTs potentially being a security. So we're still ironing some things out here in the United States. And I personally have some friends who moved to certain specific cryptocurrency, Web3 friendly countries just to trade crypto. So I've seen some of my friends do that. So absolutely. But in the sense of a decentralized platform in the future, does that make it more readily available in the future for everyone to utilize, or does that not matter that it would be a fully decentralized platform?
We plan to have this to become a fully decentralized platform because this is the nature of the business, right? The users actually will own the protocol and would govern the protocol.
Right.
but of course, in the baby steps, it's still in the it still has the the assisted wheels on the bike. That's where the core devs team is still working on.
I see. Early days, so exciting. I read somewhere an article that the NFT interface was inspired by Tinder to approach a broad audience. Is that true? Can I trade NFTs and find my future wife with SynFutures?
Hey, that's a good one. I like it. I like it so much. Yeah. When we started to think about the user experience we offer, we had a revolutionary idea that will be completely different from the crypto futures product we used to offer before, right? Because if you go into any like trading platforms, they will look like too professional. Too many parameters and indicators to scare away anyone that doesn't understand finance that much, right? So then the idea was, let's find a way to let the users actually trade this, NFT without touching their keyboard. So that was the initial idea.
Wow.
Then, the first thing that came to my mind, what actually makes that happen already, right, in the whole world is Tinder. You just swipe left, swipe right, right?
I don't know what you're talking about.
So I didn't know. No. But, you don't need to input anything like amount, right? Or like extra leverage before you can actually complete a trade, right? So, I mean, that also goes to the idea that, financial markets is an expression of people's like and dislike just with their money, right? That's the money part goes into the back end, goes on the smart contract. But in the front end, it's like, I like this, I don't like this. That's how easy it is.
Yes.
So, this is the idea, and then we try to make it happen, try to make it as simple as possible.
Yeah, I see that a lot and I'm not going to lump you in with, just being an Asian exchange because you're decentralized, but compare, American exchanges to Asian exchanges like that of the KuCoins and the Gate.ios of the world. I see a lot more gamification, a lot more fun things happening over in Asia, specifically in crypto exchanges. In my early days of, crypto trading before I got into NFTs, I saw all the gamification and it was great. It provided a unique activation for me to get more involved and be part of the ecosystem. And I saw leaderboards, and the leaderboards were great. People were making a lot of money on the leaderboards on these crypto exchanges. So it was way more exciting to be in the Asian exchange versus, the boring Coinbases and the Geminis of the world. So yeah, I love what you guys are doing. Certainly, I look forward to seeing it also.
Yeah, thanks. We're actually in the final the final process of finishing up, and then we plan to have a landing page or website together with a product to be launched together later this month. And initially, we plan to have it in a alpha stage with a whitelist. So yeah, we will definitely get you on the whitelist in as early as possible. And we'll much appreciate your feedback on that.
Definitely give you some feedback. And if my wife is listening to this, I am married, so I was never on Tinder.
That's why you didn't know Tinder.
Exactly. You being a trading expert and coming from that world, I'm starting to see a lot of NFT automatic market makers now. Before versus the past, there's SudoSwap that you may have heard of. There is Elixir specifically for the Solana ecosystem. When we're seeing a lot more liquidity coming into NFT loans, a lot of people are leveraging them now with different platforms. Can you tell us, give us any insight that you have on these types of platforms and mechanisms? Are they beneficial? Is there anything that that you just want to educate us on as early NFT adopters and just average people coming in and looking to just learn, have better financial literacy so they can make better decisions?
Yeah, of course. I think first thing, I think the examples you mentioned, like pseudo or like others, these I would see them mostly built for a more professional market maker
Mm,
or traders than someone purely start to collect an NFT and
sure.
then
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
want to do like one or two trades. Um, so I would say my recommendation is definitely try using them, but for most of the people, this may not be the one. This is
Mm,
like a newbie in the army set with a machine gun or with a like a fighter jet. So you don't know how to handle this. You probably need
hmm
professional people to handle this for you. Yeah, but the purpose of these like more professional tools in NFT trading and investing, or more like financialization of NFT,
mm,
again, as I mentioned in the beginning, is to make it more efficient for price discovery in this market. I think that's the biggest purpose. Therefore, the each like individual NFT projects, regardless of whether the founder knows how to trade this or whether the community knows how to use these tools, regardless of that, the price of these NFTs will be more solid, right? Because as more trading activities happen, that means more informations have been looked in and digested to reflect that NFT price, right? So that
mm,
means there will be less like mispriced NFT,
hmm
and then that this would guide where the creativity and the capital go, for the next NFT project.
That's very interesting. Yeah, that you recommend, just slightly dipping your toe in and let the experts, handle more the sophisticated financial instruments. And I'm starting to see more of that today. Right now, I'm seeing NFT art museum curators. They're letting you know which one has value, and I'm interested to see if there's going to be NFT fund managers in the future. Here, handle take my NFTs, make me a lot of money, give me a 10% return, and they'll utilize all the instruments, right, to create more wealth because they understand the depth of financial knowledge and how to read all the data that you're giving them to make an educated decision. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the SynFutures Academy teaching me all this, or supplying someone to manage my assets for me, because I think a lot of collectors out there would love that service. They have an asset, it's just sitting there. I know people with 20 bored apes, they're not doing anything with it, right? So if there's a way for a fund manager of sorts, NFT fund manager of sorts, to really do something with that, I believe that someone would definitely be a good use case or showcase for that. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. So there's a lot going on. You guys have a lot on your plate. You're launching an NFT PFP this year, right? Potentially.
Yes.
Okay, this year in the trading aspect. So, wow, there's going to be a lot going on, and I imagine a year from now we're going to be talking about just a lot of exciting stuff that's happened through SynFutures, and just because of how fast we move, right? Like 1 week is like 3 years.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll move very fast and then try to build more products that would have more users. Because at the end of the day, we believe the Web3 world will have 100 million, 200 million users, right? And today, unfortunately, the number is much smaller than that. And NFT will be the optimal tools to get more users onboarded into this world to start their permissionless journey. Yeah. So yeah, we
I agree
definitely
with
look
you.
forward to that. Yeah.
I agree with you. I came in through Bitcoin and Ethereum, but I agree with you. I went from that side of the world to the NFT side of the world really, really quickly. It was just much more enjoyable. Like I
Mm.
mentioned, it was so hard for me to long and short Bitcoin, but I've seen my asset value grow bigger with NFTs than with cryptocurrency. And now, if I can have someone manage that asset and grow it, that'd be even better. So I do agree with you that the more people will come in through NFTs than cryptocurrency currently at this state, right? at least, the average person and not financial institutions. So I'm excited to see you guys, develop there. Is there anything before we let you go for today? Is there anything you want to let us know about SynFutures, or just anything in general about anything else before we let you go today?
Yeah, sure. For SynFutures, we are recently migrating to our second version, and this is also the time we launched the NFT futures. So a lot of things can happen in the next couple of weeks or 1 or 2 months time. Stay tuned.
Awesome. Well, you heard it here first, guys. I'll put your links all down below so that they can connect with you and join your Telegram and Discords. It's been a pleasure having you on, Matt, and we will definitely talk again. I'm sure we're going to have you back here.
Thank you, Joe. Yeah, my pleasure too. Thanks.